Hello, friends. Happy Sunday. Happy Packers game day. Welcome into an all-new episode of the Pack-A-Day podcast. I'm your host, Andy Herman. You can follow me on Twitter at Andy Herman NFL. As you can tell, I'm still a bit under the weather. First of all, huge thank you to Jacob Westendorf for filling in for me yesterday. The good news is I sound way worse than I feel at the moment. I don't feel great, but I sound way freaking worse. So my apologies for that. I'm not going to keep you super long today. Few just quick notes. Injury reports, my keys to the game, my final prediction. Get in and out today. Hopefully I'll be feeling better soon. Probably no live pre or post game on Sunday because I sound like grim death, but we will get there eventually and hopefully be feeling better sooner rather than later. Again, cannot thank Jacob Westendorf enough for yesterday. Absolutely killed it. Always a pleasure listening to Jacob talk Packers, and was thankful for him to fill in for me yesterday when I was really not feeling great. I also want to shout out Brian Martins for becoming a brand new Pack-A-Day podcast YouTube member. Brian, thank you so much for that. Appreciate you a ton. Let's get into our Luigi's Pizza player to watch for this one. I am going with none other than Kenny Clark. We know that Kenny's had a ton of success against Garrett Bradbury and this Minnesota Vikings offensive line in the past. Earlier in the season, Kenny was not playing his best football. He's playing some really good football right now. And this has the ability to be one of those games where I'm not going to say that Kenny takes over, but is a big time impact performer and is really helping in run defense, is really making it more difficult for Sam Darnold, collapsing the pocket, which in turn makes things easier for those edge rushers, Brenton Cox, Rashawn Gary, etc. So my Luigi's Pizza player to watch in this one, Kenny Clark. As I've always said, usually when Kenny's going well, the defense is going well. If Kenny can have a big game and be super disruptive up front, it just feels like there could still be a vintage Kenny Clark game in this season. And if so, this might just be the one. So watching him in this one, all you have to do after a Packers victory is tweet hashtag Luigi's Victory Monday and make sure you're following Luigi's Pizza on Twitter at Luigi's Pizza, LuigesPizza. And you will be entered to win a free case of Luigi's frozen pizzas. And my friends, when I tell you this is 1,000,000% true, I have not felt like eating anything over these last couple days. Luigi's Pizza is the one thing that I felt like eating. Like, just go figure. But it's totally true. So thank you, Luigi's Pizza, for getting. You're supposed to have like chicken noodle soup and things like that. No, Luigi's Pizza. If you haven't tried it yet, make sure to do so. Let's get to our final injury report presented by Habish and Rotier. Out for this game, Jair Alexander, Andre Dillard, Quay Walker, and Evan Williams. Questionable are Javon Bullard, Tyron Hopper, and Christian Watson. We did have a call-up on Saturday, and that was Omar Brown, which would lead me to believe that possibly no Javon Bullard for this game. I still have a tough time believing that Christian Watson's going to play in this one as well. I know they keep giving him up until game time. With playoffs coming up, I just think they're going to be extra cautious. I bet Hopper plays because they didn't call up a linebacker. So I bet he plays, but that makes your inactives very, very easy for the day, meaning Alexander, Dillard, Quay, Evan Williams, Javon Bullard, and Christian Watson. You're likely inactives with Omar Brown being that next guy up as the call up. And then Jacob Monk should be back in action, or at least, active for a game day, which has been not the case as of late with him. But if Watson's able to go, then my guess is you're probably looking at no Malik Keith. Other than that, I don't know what you'd potentially be looking at, but that's, to me, the likely inactives. Again, Jair Alexander, Andre Dillard, Quay Walker, Evan Williams, Javon Bullard, and Christian Watson. And again, I'm going to expect that Tyron Hopper plays in some capacity in this game. For the Vikings, Fabian Moreau is out. Ivan Pace was questionable, but they did activate Ivan Pace, and they waived former Packer for a short period of time, Jamin Davis. So Ivan Pace will play in this game. That's another return from injury for Minnesota. Pace is a good player, very good run defender, good special teamer. So that's somebody to kind of keep an eye on as he kind of comes back from injury for Minnesota here. But shouldn't be a impact player, game changer, anything like that. But anytime you get players back that are valuable to your team, it's helpful. And Ivan Pace is certainly that for Minnesota. But really only Fabian Moreau, their only injury for the injury report in this game. Now, hopefully the Packers play like an all-star lineup on the field today. But you always know that Habish Rotier has an all-star team in the courtroom. If you've been injured, let the personal injury attorneys at Habish be your legal linebackers, ready to back your claim and get you the compensation that you deserve. When you call Habish, you're going to talk to a lawyer directly. Their number is 800-242-2874 or 800-2HABISH. You can also visit their website at habish.com. Habish Rotier, national reputation, hometown service. All right, let's get to my 10 keys for today's game. Then my final prediction, 10 keys. Number one, bring the fight to Minnesota. You went down, 28-0 to Minnesota last time, 24-3 to Detroit. You were down early in this last game to Detroit. That's not your recipe for success. You've got to be ready to play. I thought they looked shell-shocked at the beginning of the Detroit game, just not fully ready, not fully into it. You just can't have those lapses, especially early on in the game. So not only do I not want to see them have those lapses early on, but I want to see them be the aggressor. I want to see them take the ball first if they get it. I want to see them go down and score immediately and set the tone right away. So to me, take the fight to Minnesota. Don't let up. All gas, no break. Any cliche you want to use here. But it starts early and then play your four-quarter brand of football. Green Bay's going to need it in this one against a very, very good Minnesota team. Number two is, what do you want to stop on defense? You're not going to have Jair Alexander. You're not going to have Evan Williams. You might not have Javon Bullard. There's a lot of players missing. No Quay Walker. You simply cannot stop everything from Minnesota. And just adjust your expectation meter appropriately. It's a very good Minnesota offense. You're not keeping them under 20 in this game. So when they get to 20 some points, let's hold off on the same old Packers defense. It's a very good Minnesota offense, and you've got some injuries that are certainly going to limit you to some capacity. Now, if they're in the 30s, then you can say, all right, frustrating day at the office for the defense. But if they're in the 24 or under, I feel like that's probably a pretty good result for this Packers defense in this game, because you can't stop everything. You can't stop Jefferson and Adams and Hawkinson and Aaron Jones in the middle of the field and deep down the field. It's just, you can't stop all of it. So are you going to use kind of the same formula, meaning stop the outsides, stop the run, stop the deep ball, and make them throw over the middle? My guess is yes. That's been a formula that's been working for them quite a bit. And my guess is Green Bay will try to dictate and force Sam Darnold to throw over the middle of the field, stop Aaron Jones in the run game, keep Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison in check as much as possible. Don't allow the explosive plays, and make it so that they have to grind it out, especially over the middle of the field. That's my guess. But Jeff Hafley's going to have a very tough challenge in front of him in figuring out how he wants to stop this very, very potent Minnesota offense with a ton of weapons. And like I said, it's not going to be an easy task by any stretch of the imagination. Number three is, you kind of have a race between the Packers pass rush and Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison getting open. I like what these Packers defensive backs have done as of late. They don't have the answers necessary to stop Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson for long. You can set up a defense that is going to slow them down, that is going to make it so it takes time for them to develop their routes and get open, but they're going to get open. So it is a race between Rashawn Gary and Bretton Cox and Kenny Clark and Devontae Wyatt and Carl Brooks and all those, the blitzers, Edgerrin Cooper, etc. How quick can they get to Sam Darnold before Sam Darnold has the ability to find those open receivers down the field? It's just a literal race. And to me, if this Vikings offensive line is protecting Sam Darnold and keeping his pocket clean, it's going to be a long day, because you can't cover Jefferson and Addison for that long. It makes it really, really tough. But they're going to have to win up front. They've done a much better job of winning lately. And if they can do that in this game, it's going to go a long way in giving you some outs on defense as to how you can stop Sam Darnold, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, and this Vikings offense. Number four, manage the crowd noise. This has been a bit of an issue going back to the Detroit game. Just some of the stuff that they were doing with their cadence and their silent count and things like that. They weren't getting the play in time, which was causing them to go down to 2-1 on the play clock, which was allowing Detroit to get off the ball as soon as Josh Myers basically made any move, because there was no ability to go quote unquote hard count or anything like that. So you got to manage that a bit better. Make sure that you're getting the play call in on time so that you can go kind of like Josh Myers can do a couple dummy nods and things like that. And you're not just having to tell where as soon as Myers moves, you can get off the ball. There's an issue against Detroit. They got to clean it up, make sure it's not a big issue against Minnesota, because the last thing you want is that Vikings team firing off the ball at any sort of movement up front. It's just not a recipe for success. So they have to manage the crowd noise and some of their silent count stuff as well. Number five, get Jordan Love hot. We know that Jordan Love can be a bit of a streaky quarterback at times. And when he catches fire, it's just good luck. Good luck stopping him, because you're probably not going to. So if I'm Matt LaFleur, I want to get him some easy stuff early. Just get him in a bit of a rhythm, get him in a bit of a groove. Hopefully that he starts feeling it a little bit. and then you can get him off and running. They're going to need a really good Jordan Love in this game. You can't go, in my opinion, 16 completions, 180 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks or something like that. Like, that's not going to do it. This is a game where Jordan's going to have to be, I'm not saying he has to be like at his best or superhero Jordan Love or anything quite like that, but you need good to really good Jordan Love in this game. Get him out early, get him out hot often, and just make it so that he is a problem all day for that Minnesota defense. He's been great against the blitz as of late, so make Minnesota want to blitz him a little bit more and then let him hopefully pick apart what I think can at times be a weak Minnesota secondary, but get him going early and often in this one. Number 6, can you find a way to run the ball efficiently? This is a really fun matchup where Josh Jacobs has been just about unstoppable, and just about nobody's been able to get anything going on the ground against Minnesota. So I don't know if it's your unstoppable force versus an unmovable object or things like that in this case, but either way, it's a tough matchup for both teams, right? For Minnesota, regardless of how good your run defense has been, you're not looking forward to seeing Josh Jacobs. He's been that good. And if you're Josh Jacobs in this Green Bay offense, you know how tough it can be to run on Minnesota's defense. So who wins that battle? If Green Bay can continue to get Jacobs going and have him be super successful in this game, massive opportunity for Green Bay. And if Minnesota just shuts down Jacobs in the run game, it puts a lot on Jordan Love's plate. And it makes you go toe-to-toe with Darnold, Jefferson, and Addison in that pass offense and leaves you unbalanced on your side of the field. So make sure you're getting that running game going and find a way for it to be efficient in some capacity, because Minnesota's defense does not allow you to do that more often than not. Number 7 is who steps up at wide receiver. You may not need a number 1 wide receiver on the offense in general. I feel like somebody's going to have to be that pseudo number 1 wide receiver in this game. Somebody that just steps up and has a really big game. Whether it is Dontavian Wicks or Romeo Doubs, if Christian Watson plays somehow, Jaden Reed, I don't really care who it is, to be honest. Bo Melton really came on at the end of last year, right around this time. Whoever it is, you're going to have somebody that you can trust in clutch key moments. And I think that's probably Romeo Doubs. But whoever it is, whether it is Wicks or Dobbs or Reed or Melton or anyone else, you've got to come up and play big in this game, because we know Minnesota's going to be aggressive. You have to win one-on-ones on the outside. To me, that's where Romeo Doubs really comes in a major way. I expect Romeo Doubs to have a really big game in this one, but somebody's got to have to step up, be that dude, and make it so that Minnesota maybe has to change up the way that they're playing a little bit, because that singular wide receiver is beating them. Green Bay needs one of those guys to step up in a major way in this game. Number 8 is what I like to call a race to an interception. I think that both Sam Darnold and Jordan Love can have a propensity to throw a turnover-worthy ball now and again. Now, Jordan Love's been great at taking care of the ball as of late. It wouldn't surprise me if both Love and Darnold threw a pick in this game, but I think the first big interception could be a massive game-changing play in this one, especially early on. And if it's, Jordan, you don't want to get off to that, 14-21 nothing hole or something like that, where you've got to come back from that. And if it's Sam Darnold, it could set you up hopefully for some success, or maybe you can be the one with the 14-0 lead. So to me, that race to that first turnover, that first interception is going to be highly, highly important in this one. Number 9, as good as Jordan Love has been against the blitz, you still have to manage it. They're very, very creative with what they do. Harrison Smith will be back in this one. He's sort of a catalyst of what makes that entire blitz package work. He's so smart and is able to kind of get everyone aligned correctly and get everyone in favorable matchups. So you're going to have to be very wise with what they're doing. And you're going to have to make sure that you've got everything blocked up front and aren't getting free rushers on Jordan. And now Jordan's ability to avoid sacks and his ability to escape and maneuver is all going to be super important. But you still cannot let Minnesota's blitz get through or easily in this game and make it a very difficult task for Jordan to pick apart what I think is a vulnerable Viking secondary, but only if you can block everything up front. Number 10, last but not least, unleash Edgerrin Cooper. I really truly believe we're seeing a star-making, set of performances right in front of our eyes. I think you're seeing this player start to figure it out and go from what was already a pretty good player to, I think, a star in this league. And as much as you can, set that dude free. Let him get after the quarterback, blitz him, just put him, make him a real focal point of this defense. I think that's where you need to go. I think he's too special of a player. And if you can get him going and make it so that he is just wrecking shop all over the field, he just has that ability. And if I'm Green Bay, I'm going to blitz him on Sam Darnold. I'm going to set him loose. I am going to let him get sideline to sideline on Aaron Jones, and I'm going to let whatever you need. But he can be a massive game changer, difference maker in this game. And if I'm the Packers, I'm unleashing him and saying, "Get ready, because we're gonna set this guy loose, and he's gonna be a massive impact performer for us." I think he can be it, and I think this is where you start game planning of how can we make how can we let Edgerrin Cooper win this game for us. Like, that's how I'm starting to think with Edgerrin Cooper. To let him free and let him be an absolute beast and stud in this game. Just to recap, bring the fight to Minnesota. How do you want to go about stopping Minnesota's offense? What do you want to sort of allow, or what do you want to make sure you take away? Can the pass rush get there before Jefferson and Addison get open? Can you manage the crowd noise? Can you get Jordan Love hot? Can you find a way to run the ball efficiently? Can somebody step up big at wide receiver? Race to an interception? Who gets that first big turnover? Manage the blitz and unleash Edgerrin Cooper. My prediction for this one, Packers win 26-24. Should be a really fun game. Could easily see multiple ways in which Minnesota wins. Could easily see multiple ways in which Green Bay wins. This is one of those true coin flips, and I'm really excited to watch it. I know I'm looking forward to it. I'm sure you are as well. I hope you guys all enjoy your game day. Hopefully I'm feeling better here in a little bit, and we'll be back to my normal self. Like I said, likely, unless I wake up in the morning just feeling 1,000,000%, probably not doing a pregame or postgame show. Maybe a postgame if I'm feeling okay, but we'll see what tomorrow brings. I hope you guys all have a very enjoyable Packers Sunday, our penultimate Sunday of the Packers regular season and the NFL regular season. Seems crazy. Bears next week, and then it's going to be playoff time. And a lot of interesting matchups that are still out there that Green Bay could potentially have based on what happens in this game and what happens the remainder of this year. So enjoy the hell out of it, everyone. I will see you all very soon. Shout out to our Hall of Fame and All-Pro members. Most State of Minnesota, PJ Wayne, John Wild, Brandon Paletta, Jennifer Wright, Boom Handle, Donald Lee, Lori Lord, Baby QB, David McCluskey, Donald Decker, Alex Wong, Arnaldo Espinoza, Peter Ritaka, Jay Zimmerman, B. Brown, Puerto Rican Packer, Dan Gesford, Stepke, Love and Football, Dylan Pat Scott, Bobby Santoro, SoCal Pack, and Allison Tuckwab. Let me just say this. The fact I made it through almost 18 minutes here without coughing a single time, I'm counting that as a huge win. I'll see you guys all soon. Enjoy game day, everyone. Until next time. And as always, go Pack, go.